Hello, everyone. This is Shahriam Mohseni, a PhD candidate in marketing at Bocconi University. Today, I'm going to present my joint project with Kurt Mons titled Disfluency Increases Reliance on Heuristic Cues in Consumer Choice. This project has been just invited for the second round review at JCR. Actually, this project we go against the existing findings in the literature regarding relationship between disfluency and dual processing system, and also we go one step further to show this relationship in a consumer choice context. First, let me talk about it a bit about disfluency is one of the main construct of this project. So, according to the literature, disfluency has been defined as the subjective experience of difficulty with which people process information. It has been long documented that disfluency has negative impact in our judgment and evaluation. And in this way, scholars have tried different ways to manipulate a disfluency. But the most common way of disfluency manipulation is presenting information, as you can see on this screen, in hard to read font versus easy to read font. There are also other type of disfluency we can observe these days in the real world. For example, as you can see on this screen, adding background image to product information like this one that was captured from Amazon, or presenting information in a way that the image resolution is not good enough to read the information. So, how do people process information when it's hard to read? To answer this question, I took a look at the existing literature on dual processing system. According to this literature, people use two different ways to process information: systematic processing or heuristic processing. If we consider it as a continuum, on one side we have systematic processing, while on the other side we have heuristic processing. According to this literature, systematic processing is more associated with thoughtful, deliberate, and analytical thinking, and it happens when people want to think carefully and deeply about provided information. So, on the other side, we have heuristic processing, which is more intuitive and inferential, and it happens when actually people would like to simplify the decision making process by using relatively more salient and easily comprehend cues, or using mental shortcuts like a brand name, recommended option, or country of origin, which have been suggested in the marketing literature. But regarding the relationship between disfluency and how it affects information processing, existing research has not provided clear understanding of it. For example, a group of researchers found that disfluency activates systematic processing. They reasoned that disfluency serves as a metacognitive cue that something is amiss, and therefore more careful attention or consideration should be paid to uh, understand the source of the uneasy feeling. For example, Alter and his colleagues provide preliminary evidence that people take an analytical approach when they experience disfluency. They show this effect by documenting improved performance on cognitive reflection tests and system reasoning tasks. For example, as you can see on this screen, cognitive reflection test is a kind of math problem solving, consists of two answers: an intuitive answer and a correct answer, which needs more careful consideration. A correct answer on each item of this test suggests that respondents engage systematic processing to correct their intuitive response. So they hypothesize that if this fluency initiates systematic processing, then people should perform better on these tests. And uh, they found that when the items of these tests presented in hard to read font, as you can see on the screen, people perform better or answer the greater proportion of the question more correctly compared to when the items presented in easy to read font. However, others have challenged their finding and arguing that this fluency does not lead to deliberate thinking. For example, Mayer and his colleagues ran 16 experiments to replicate the existing find the previous group of researchers finding regarding relationship between these two, but they found that disfluency neither improves performance on cognitive reflection tests nor leads to better performance on system reasoning tasks. Others have also tried to replicate it, but by using wider range of problem solving tasks, but they couldn't also replicate the relationship between these two. So this question came to my mind that uh, does this fluency in a consumer choice context lead to relying more heavily on heuristic cues, systematic cues, or neither of them? To answer this question, I took a look at some existing findings in the marketing literature, which have demonstrated directly and indirectly that people might use heuristics to simplify their decision process when deliberate thinking is undermined. For example, Novemsky and his colleagues found that when it's hard to process information, people are more likely to defer or choosing neither of the available option. So, considering choosing choice deferral as a way to simplify the decision, our decision making, it could be in some way uh, suggest that this fluency can lead to heuristic processing. Not directly investigating fluency in a consumer choice context, other studies also showed indirectly that this fluency can lead to heuristic processing. For example, considering a choice made by others uh, as a heuristic cue, it has been shown that when people are under time pressure, they would like to mimic others' behavior more often. Or considering a recommended option as a heuristic cue, it has been recently shown that people choose more a recommended option in audio context since it's harder to process information in voice setting rather than visual context. All these findings are consistent with my notion that when people face with a difficult task, consumers will be more likely to use heuristic simplifying strategies rather than fully and carefully process all the available information. So, uh, I hypothesize that feeling of difficulty in processing information could lead to relying more heavily on heuristic cues like a brand name, country of origin, or recommended option. These are kind of heuristic cues that I used and tested in this uh, paper. So, to test this hypothesis, I ran seven previous studies, hired around 6,000 participants across different platforms, trying to use both hypothetical and incentivized compatible choice setting, using different heuristic cues, and I tried different manipulation of this fluency. I used three different ways to test the underlying mechanism using two different way to measure processing style and also try a way to manipulate it. But today, for the sake of time, I'm going to present just three studies. So, in the first study, I tried just to check whether this will lead to choice simplification or not. At the same time, I would like to replicate the previous findings of Novemsky to show that choice differential could be a way to simplify the decision-making process. Also, I would like to show whether this will lead to choosing more often the option with a better brand name or better heuristic cue. In this study, I used brand name and country of origin as a heuristic cue, as you can see, for example, on the image. I use Hamilton Beach versus Itachin, and I use a font to manipulate disfluency. Participant randomly assigned to two different conditions of disfluency. So, in all of our studies, participants observe two options, while one of the options, as you can see on this screen, which is the blender A, has better systematic cues, like here is higher power, higher number of blending function, and higher capacity. The other option has only a better brand name. For example, here is a Hamilton Beach blender, and the same information provided in hard to read font. And we ask participant regarding the dependent variable, we ask participant which decision they would like to make. They want to choose the option blender A, B, or neither of them. So following our prediction, we found that people were more likely to choose the option with a better brand name when it was hard to read the information. As you can see, when people choose more often the option with a better systematic cues, which is the eye touching blender when it's easy to read the information. And also we found that people when it comes to disfluency, people differ more often, which replicate the previous findings of Novemsky and his colleagues. And regarding the focus of this research, we found that people choose more often the Hamilton Beach blender, or the option with a better heuristic cue, and it's hard to read the information. And also at the end of the survey, we asked two questions regarding the details of the information provided, to see whether people pay attention to the details. And we found that actually when it's easy to read information, people have better recall, so they remember better the details, which is not something that we didn't expect. So but to show this effect above and beyond memory, we ran again the main analysis across those who answered correctly to those two attention check questions. So among 76% of people who answered to those two questions correctly, we found the same pattern of result. People choose more often the option with a better brand name when it was hard to read the information. Also, people uh, make the choice to differ more often when it was hard to read the information. In another study, we try to show that whether this effect happened because of disfluency or not. According to the literature, if the effect uh, is derived by disfluency, then by drawing participant attention to the source of disfluency, the effect should be gone. So in this 2 by 2 between subject design, we instead of font, we manipulate disfluency by adding background image, and before participants observe the options, the two air fryers. We draw half of the participant attention to the source of this fluency, and again we use brand name as a heuristic cue. So we told participants that the information presented next is difficult to read because of the background image. And as you can see on this screen, in the fluent condition, people saw some information about two fryers on white background, and the same information presented by adding background image. We counterbalance the order of both brand name and also background image. So following our expectation, we found that in the control condition, when we didn't inform participants about the source of this fluency, we could replicate our previous findings. People choose more often the Ninja Blender, but when we draw participant attention to the source of this fluency, the effect was gone. And in that study, in one of our study, when we where we measure down the line mechanism, again we use background image, similar to the previous study I show you. We use brand name as a heuristic cue, and following this literature, we ask participants to rate whether they evaluate the option systematically or heuristically. Regarding the main effect, we replicate our previous findings, and this is the question we asked to measure the underlying mechanism. And regarding the mediation test, running his model for with 10,000 iteration, we found that when it was hard to read the information or adding background image, leads to people evaluate the option more intuitively, which in turn lead to choosing more often the option with a better brand, and which is Ninja Blender. So in this project, actually, we go against existing findings, the literature regarding relationship between disfluency and dual processing system, and test extended to the consumer choice context, and we found that people rely more heavily on country of origin, brand name, and recommended option as a heuristic cue when it was hard to read the information. Thank you for listening, and yeah, have a good day.